Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and so far today I've just done some cleaning and whatnot. I also had to rake some leaves and just rested a bit because last night I had a really bad headache and had to just recover from that one. So yeah, but I have done some reading. I started a new book called The London Sion Society by Sarah Penner. And this takes place in 1873. At an abandoned chateau on the outskirts of Paris, a dark séance is about to take place, led by acclaimed spiritualist. Oh my god, I cannot talk today. I'm so sorry. Madeleine Diallo, known worldwide for her talent in conjuring the spirits of murder victims to ascertain the identities of the people who killed them, and she is highly sought after by widows and investigators alike. Lena Weeks has come to Paris to find answers about her sister's death, but to do so she must embrace the unknown and overcome her own logic-driven bias against the occult. When Verlaine is beckoned back to England to solve a high-profile murder, Lena accompanies her as an understudy, but as the women team up with the powerful men of London's exclusive Sion Society to solve the mystery, they begin to suspect that they are not merely out to solve a crime, but to perhaps entangle in one themselves. So you follow that, and I'm currently on page 74, and as I am kind of dealing with the after effects of that headache, I've been really gone into the story, really felt in the story, so far I am very much intrigued. As that plot does state, we do follow Elena, who is apprenticing with Vadeline, and she is hoping to learn from Vadeline because her sister was killed and the murderer was never found, and she is hoping to take Vadeline's lessons and kind of go back to London, go back to England. I don't think she lives in London, I'm not entirely sure, but really, and summon up her sister's spirit and ask her who killed her, because her sister was killed and robbed, so yeah. And Vadeline, she has this, idea that spirits will only return to the place where they died, and for some reason, and initially it's unknown to us, she doesn't go back to England. She left London for a reason, and she doesn't have any desire or any plans to go back to it. And Lena, she is skeptical of the whole occult thing. She was more of a woman of science, actual science, walks and whatnot. Her sister, however, Evie, she was the one who was very much intrigued about the entire thing, intrigued about the occult, and she herself was a former student of Vadeline, and that's kind of why Vadeline took Lena on as a student, because Vadeline really just did every few months, or I believe it was cohorts of students, and she took Lena on as an individual person, to help her. And what I did find interesting was seeing even if what the sisters believed in is quite different, there is some similarities to it, because we do get flashbacks to arguments that Lena had with her sister in the days and weeks leading up to Evie's death. And there's this one quote on page 42 that's "The fish is dead and gone, yet the form of him is right in front of you, just as it will be in that clay for all of time. It's the same of ghosts. We may die, but we are never really gone." And it's I guess not the study, but it's there are things keeping us attached to this world, even if we are gone, even if we're dead. Our bones will keep us connected to the world, and in certain cases, our ghosts will remain connected to the world, and that's what I find interesting. And yeah, I mean, to see Lena kind of skeptical about the whole thing. Not entirely sure of, like, not entirely sure if she actually truly believes in it. Like, she's still very much of a skeptic, even under Vaudlan's ring. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued to see where that goes. We also follow this other character, a man named Morley, who was the head of the spiritualism department of the London Sian Society, and this society, yeah, and as it is stated, like, the president and man named Volkman was killed a few months prior, and Morley is the one who writes the letter to Vaudelan, inviting her to conduct a seance to get the answers on who killed Volkman. Because, and there's a bit of a connection there, because with Volkman's death and Vaudelan's departure of London, is that there were members of the society who were frauds, who were taking advantage of widows and conjuring up false pictures or false, not readings, but yeah, false images, and is taking advantage of the widows for money and whatnot. And initially it was Vaudelan who was, I guess, aware of what was happening, and she went to Volkman with the information she had already, and he believed her, and he was gonna gather more information, more evidence, and really find out who was involved and who isn't. And I guess those involved killed him or had someone kill him. So yeah, I'm just very much intrigued about. That's really why I'm most interested in seeing Lena's if her beliefs will change or if she'll question them anymore. I'm also very much to see if the fact that society is a gentleman only sort of club, if that will be questioned or not, or if that will be not questioned, but that will be I guess fun. Yeah, if there will be something to do with that, I guess I'm not. But yeah, so far it's intrigue and really interested in seeing where the answers lie and who's involved, and if it's the same party, because coincidentally both Lena's sister and Mr. Volkman, they were killed on the same day, on All Hallows Eve, which is a bit of a coincidence if you ask me, considering I think All Hallows Eve is when spirits come forward the most, if I believe that's correct. If that's the right thing of the legend, I don't know, but yeah. And yeah, I think that's all for now, so I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I've done some reading of the London Sian Society, and I'm on page 130, and I don't know, so far I'm enjoying it. I guess I'm still not in the best space. I don't know. Again, I'm feeling a bit ill, which did my body give me a break? But yeah. But we do learn that Lena, she is attracted to women. Earlier, someone, a man named Steven, he was pursuing her, showing her the fossils and walks just to try and impress her, and really thinking he might have entered a courtship with her. She knew about his feelings towards her, but she just wasn't inclined to him. But we do learn that she had a secret relationship with his sister and her close friend Eloise, if that's how you pronounce it. And this is a time in London, I believe. This novel takes place in 1873. So these kind of relationships, a woman with a woman, a man with a man, they would be looked down upon, not illegal. And on the phone, to the public, Eloise and Lena, they had a very close friendship. And for Eloise, at least, that was enough, because she and Lena knew what they meant to each other. As long as that public friendship was not public friendship, was fun, they could be together. Like they had that, I guess, protecting him. And now, Eloise had died many years prior in an accident where her father also died, and the seance that the London Seance Society performed on her, I don't know, it kind of started to make Lena doubt, like, is this real? Because all she saw from them was, like, these men drawing things that didn't really represent Eloise. Like, Lena knew who Eloise was, and these drawings were just, I don't know, to her, they were just utter BS. But it seems like what what she's feeling towards Vodeline is now less of this, like, teacher way, but in more like in a romantic way. So I'm intrigued to see how that plays out, considering Vodeline, she's been in Paris for a while, and she sees how different it is compared to London. Like Vodeline mentions, she felt more open about exploring her own interactions to both genders in Paris, as the world in Paris allows more freedoms than in London. Like in London, everyone's so concerned about appearances and manners and whatnot. Well, in Paris, they don't really worry about that kind of stuff. So I'm just intrigued on if that goes anywhere, just because there was this, like, quite intimate scene where Vodeline, she guides Lena's hand through a scar onVodeline's thigh, and it's like, who's pushing, who's pulling, who's in control of the situation, who has the power. Like, that scene, it was quite intimate. And it's also very interesting as it allowed Lena, who, since her sister's death, just felt like she hasn't had power in any ways whatsoever, it allowed her to have some of that power. We also see how Vodeline, who seems to be this powerful figure, like, she has her walls up, she's someone who's quite stoic. It's like a quite vulnerable moment for her. Like, she's relinquishing some power to Lena, which is quite interesting and fascinating. So yeah, I'm just intrigued to see where that relationship will go. So yeah. And we also see that apparently Morley and Evie, they had a relationship, or there was something going on between the two of them. Like Morley, it was like Evie was the first person to really accept him, like, because he has this birthmark on his face. No woman wants to marry him in the fear that this birthmark might be passed down to the child and make the child ugly. I'm saying ugly in quotation marks because, yeah. But with Evie found his birthmark exquisite, and it's like she's the first woman to accept him, so yes, feelings for her. And he did offer to, like, do things properly, like ask permission of her father to court her, and Evie's like, no. Like, she apparently enjoyed this sneaking around and whatnot, but it seems like she was using him essentially, from what I gather, to get into the London CM Society's, like, the building it's in, to have access to the books and instruments used when acquiring mediumship knowledge, and she, in a way, would, I guess, not pay him, but I don't know, she would allow Morley to, like, kiss her, caress her once or twice, like, allow his hands to go on. It's like she's doing what she needs to do to keep him, to allow her to keep going into this society. Like, she, in a way, she is taking advantage of his feelings to get what she wants. And there's this scene where he realizes there might be an issue with the fact he's allowing Evie into the society like after hours. Like he's worried that he might be caught, that vocal man might be onto him. So there's this season where it's this in the plan. So I'm interested to see like where the planning goes, and yeah, like so far I'm just very much interested in seeing the development of Vodeline and Lena's relationship, and really seeing more of even Morley's and what happened to even Volkman, because there's this scene where it's like they actually point out the fact it looks like a coincidence that both of them were killed on All Hallows Eve, but apparently like the last All Hallows Eve fell on a day of a new moon, which is apparently something that happens from what I gathered every 19 years, or what they said, and it's like, and to mediums that apparently it pertains death and shock in numbers. Mediums refuse to leave their house on this kind of day, so I don't know, I just found that was an interesting thing to put into the book, because the readers would definitely notice, like, what a strange coincidence that both people were killed on the exact same day. Like, so, yeah. And, yeah, I think that's really all of my thoughts so far, and everything I wanted to discuss. So, yeah, and I think that's all for now, so I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I've just done some cleaning and whatnot, and I have done quite a bit of reading of the London Sion Society. Now I'm on page 222, and yeah, and I have some thoughts about it. We do see how the members of the society, they would take advantage of, I guess, their position, of the fact that they hold this power over their customers, and as well they would take advantage of people's emotions while performing the fraud. A few members would get the mourning widows alone and take advantage of them, and there's this scene here in a brothel where they were charging quite extraordinary prices, and the women, like, they came together and put their money together, and still the men were like, well, we want more money, and when the women weren't able to give more, well, they offered other services to pay these men back. Like, they are taking advantage of their position and of the fact that they know the whole thing is scam. And speaking of this scam, we learn quite quickly the identity of who the mastermind behind the scam is, and the whole thing, like, I felt there would be more investigative stuff, like, it's like, oh, it could be this character, that character, like, I was expecting a bunch of throwaway characters before we got the big thing, but no, the reveal, it felt like we were being given that on a silver platter. And I guess it's the novel's less about like who did it, but more like who can you trust, because the I guess the driver of the carriage, the one he hired because he was deaf, like he thought he couldn't speak, he couldn't hear anything. He gives a warning to Lena when she, Vodeline, are alone in the carriage with this person, and driver's like, he is lying, get away from him. I don't know, it just felt. I do have to say, I do like the theme of greed in here, because really it's like the reason they're doing this is people who are doing this is because, well, they're greedy. They want money, they want, I guess, the fame that comes from being well-known mediums, and they want other stuff. Let's just say, I'm not going to say what other stuff is, but that is the reason for why the person who created the thought, like, they saw that the society was losing money, and they were like, how can I help to regain money, and I guess certain people involved in the scam like were not doing it in a good way or whatever, and it is customers. I don't know. I don't think that was their intention, but yeah. And it seemed like Lena's learning more about her sister. Like she's losing the image, I guess, she has of this sweet, innocent little sister, and is feeling more villainizing. Evie knew about this scam, and she wanted to start her own medium business, and thought these illusions, I guess, would help her build up the business. Like, Vodeline believes that she was a true believer of the spirit world and whatnot, and maybe she was, or maybe she was just very convincing, but then like greed went over. Like she wanted the money, she wanted success in her business, and this did change our relationship with our with I think I would agree with that with Morley, because it's now Morley was involved in some way, and he now sees it as like the relationship between him and Yugi as something less romantic and maybe more of a business relationship. Like he gets what he wants, she gets what she wants, and both of them are happy. And yeah, and I did like seeing that exploration of greed, but I don't know, I just didn't really love the fact they were just practically told, given on a silver platter, like told like the mastermind of who the scams were. I don't know, I just think that should have, considering this novel is quite short, and like I think it's only like 329 pages, so just 329, and yeah, I don't know, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know my thoughts right now on this one. I'm still, I guess, intrigued to see what happens next. So yeah, I think that's all for now. So I'll see you when I see. So it's the next day, and I unintentionally finished the London Sion Society. And when I say unintentionally, I mean I didn't mean to read 100 pages of this in a day, but here we are. And I enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed seeing Lena and Rodeline's like relationship grow and blossom, I guess. And as well Lena seeing like that she doesn't have to be so, I guess, strict in her ways, like she's allowed to just well and whatnot. And as well seeing like them taking down this organization that's this full of greedy men, like I don't know, I just enjoyed that most. But we do learn that Evie, she wasn't like gathering the information she was gathering like to use for her own business. She was, she found something was fishy during the seance during her friend Eloise, and the fact that the only person who was allowed to attend the seance for Eloise's father was the mother, which was a bit odd. And Evie, she was planning to gain information and really use it to write this expose on what was happening. And yeah, and we do see that Mr. Morley did learn about this because of a letter that fell out of like her bag onto his floor when she was in his office the night before, a letter addressed to Vodeline, and he learns about the whole scheme and whatnot, and he forges this letter from Vodeline to Evie that's basically telling her that he's gonna host this big party on All Hallows Eve, and then she should come and find like the papers she needs for her expose in his like cellar, and it's like all like a thing that's to take Evie out. And oh, there we are. And it just shows really another thing of like greed, I guess, just cause or not greed, but like I guess men not having self control over his emotions. because he allowed himself to be fooled by Evie. He literally stated in the book that this happened because he found her very attractive and that she saw past his flaw, which is this birthmark he has on his face. That she became his Achilles heel, but in, I guess, the current timeline we're following, which is months after this murder happened, Lena finds this letter and thinks it generally is from Vardaline, and it makes Lena doubt if Vardaline, if anything she said to her was true. And yeah. And Lena, while she's snooping around Mr. Morley's desk, she finds this portfolio that he kept, and it's a list. The society would they would find which members of the general society and follow them and then put out a hit on them. They were killing people to make the witch widows come to them, to exploit them. That's how sick these men were. Yep. And we do see this seance, and we do also learn how Mr. Morley was gonna kill Vardaline and Lena, because he cannot let these two women go on knowing the truth. He has this gun on him that Lena thinks he's gonna use, but it's not a gun. It's a ruse in itself. He has a bigger plan to take out the both of them, and for some reason, Constable Bag, which I don't really know that was ever properly explained why he wanted to kill Constable Bag. I don't know, it just didn't really make sense, or maybe I missed something, I'm not entirely sure. But during the seance, Evie does enter Lena, her spirit, which does show that Evie did not die where her body was found, but she died in Morley's cellar, and he moved the body to outside the hotel that Lena's family runs. But we also see, and it's where Volkman died as well. And we do learn that Volkman, he was no innocent party in this whole thing. He knew full well what Morley was doing. He was in fact the murderer, actually, of these men. He was the one who was keeping the information, keeping the, I guess, the names of the men who he killed and how he did it, and really he knew about it, and he was the one who sent Vardaline out for her own safety, when really he needed her out of the way so she would stop snooping around and actually finding out the truth. And yeah, and we do learn we do see how both Volkman and Evie died, and yeah. And after there's this scene where the plan Morley has to kill Vardaline, and Lena doesn't go to what he wanted to go to plan, and instead he's the one who ends up dying. And Lena, she does conduct another seance on her own for his spirit as well as Mr. Volkman's, and she just skips the part where it's a termination incantation, which is allowing this spirit to go back to their afterlife. Instead, she is keeping them in this limbo state because of that, where no one can see them, no other spirit can see or hear them, and they have to be tormented by the sound of screams of their victims, which suitable punishment, very suitable. I do like that, and yeah, and yeah, but I just also seeing but overall I did seeing how Lena, she kind of changes her beliefs in science and accepts that there are things that are unexplained, that are intentionable. That's what really accepting what she wants, because she and Alois, the relationship was kept under wraps. They both put up this front to look like good society women, respectable society women, and that's not something Lena has any desire to explore any further. She could be with Stephen, who was Alois's twin brother, who does want to court her. That would be easy. They both have similar interests and whatnot. But Lena, she could never make herself fall for him, like, or be in love with him. Like, for her, what she is deciding to decide to pursue what she truly desires, what she truly wants, and not something that's fake. And I don't know, I just like that. And you see that she just go back to Paris with Vita, and yeah, I don't know, I just like that last scene. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy this novel, but I did have issues with the fact like there was just no other suspects, and I don't know. I think I will give it a 4 star. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. And the book I will probably start tomorrow just because I don't really see myself doing any more reading today is The Book of Doors by Garth Brown. This is an art copy I picked up last summer at some used bookstore. And it's about this girl named Cassie who works in a New York City bookstore. And one day, one of her favorite customer dies, and he leaves her this book. And with this book, it's no ordinary book. It is the Book of Doors, inscribed with enigmatic words and mysterious drawings. Promise Cassie that any door is every door. She just needs to know how to open it. And Cassie is approached by a gaunt stranger in a warm black suit who keeps watch over a unique set of rare volumes, and assuming her possession is not the only book with great power, but it is the one most coveted by those who collect them. And now Cassie is being haunted by the few people who know about the special books. And with this, her roommate easy to confide in. She has to decide if she will keep the mysterious and haunted Drummond, protect the Book of Doors, and the other book in his secret library's care from those who would do evil. Only Drummond knows where the library is, and only Cassie's book can get them there. But some are willing to kill to obtain those secrets, and a dark force in the form of a shadowy, sadistic woman is at the very top of the list. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about that, and yeah, I think that's all for now. I do plan to do some yard work outside today, and yeah, I think that's it for me, so I'll see you. So it's the next day, and I've just done some reading of the Book of Doors, and now I'm on page 91. I don't feel like I'm in the story yet. Like I don't feel, I guess, connected to Garth Brown's writing, but I am very much intrigued about it. And like I said yesterday, we do follow Cassie, who works in this bookshop. We do learn that she was raised by her grandfather, and what I just read is because her mother was a drug addict who left Cassie with the grandfather so he would raise her. And she went on this backpacking trip throughout Europe to find herself and whatnot. That's her history essentially. And one day her favorite customer who comes in before closing, he'll order a coffee and read his book and no talk, and he dies. Just suddenly he dies. And he leaves her this book of Doors, and Cassie, she doesn't really think much of it at first until she is in her apartment and she visualizes her trip to Venice, and she opens the door in her apartment, and she lives in New York, I should say. She opens the door in her New York City apartment, and then boom, she's on the street of Venice, and yeah. And I do find that interesting in the sense you have to visualize a place, you have to see it in your mind, so it's not oh, I'm thinking of going to the Met for some reason. It's you have to actually visualize it, which I do find is an interesting concept. And yeah, and the book also does changes when Cassie is using it. It changes the images inside. It adds places she's been to, and we do learn that there are other books out there in our world, in a sense. There is a book of shadows to pass unseen, the book of memories to make people forget about. someone when he needed them to the book of luck to bring someone good fortune. Like there are books to help you to make people do something. Like there's this one book of despair that just brings dread and despair to a person. Like it takes away all, I guess, happy moments that they might have, which we do see is utilized by this woman who I'm assuming is gonna be like the villain of the story. And yeah. And we also learn that there are people out there who will do anything to get these books. Like they'll hire people to track down these books. They will go after someone who has these books, like, and it's like in a quite a violent manner because these books, like, they give a person a power. So, I don't know, that's really all I got so far. I do like how initially Cassie, she seems like to be in this like wanderlust situation where it's like she's just like very much in love and affect. She can go in everywhere she's been to in the past, like Venice, Prague, Paris, like places she's been to in the past and haven't been to since. And it's like the sense of wanderlust until we realize that she's really doing it because like, she traveled because her grandfather who raised her, he wasn't able to afford it at all, and he wanted to travel, but with raising her and with money and whatnot, like he just wasn't able to. So all of her travels is for him, and I do really like seeing that. And I'm very much intrigued to see like what the villain of the story wants and what other books there that might be out there in the world. I do have to say with Cassie's roommate and best friend Izzy, I don't know, I just didn't really get the sense that they're the best friends, that they're close friends, and it could be because Izzy, like, she works quite like in a day shift of her job, and Cassie works in a later hours, so they don't really interact that much in their apartment. But I don't know, Izzy, I just didn't really like her. In a sense, like, she, I don't know, it's just, I just didn't really get the sense of that, but I do see that she's quite protective of Cassie and wants Cassie to kind of, I guess, wake up from this wanderlust phase she seems to be in, because Izzy, there's this thing where she's Googling the Book of Doors, and it's like, not curious or anything, but she's suspicious because she cannot find any information about it on Google, and everything's on Google, which is a bit ridiculous, but also she just gets bad vibes about it, like, but there's this scene where she points out like bad people can use the book for bad intentions, and she wants Cassie to be careful, and is upset when Cassie doesn't take her warnings, and is upset when Cassie does use the book, and she just wants Cassie to be careful about using that book because someone might see her using it and harm her. And yeah, I don't think until Cassie told her about her grandfather that she finally understood why Cassie was using the book in the first place. So yeah, I say why now I'm just very much intrigued about what's gonna be happening, and yeah, I'm just really hoping to see more of their friendships, like, so I can get more of a sense that they're actually good friends. I kind of do wish I felt more connected with this story, but yeah, so far, I do like the idea that there are different books for different things, like, that can benefit a person, and also, I just one of the people who's after the Book of Doors, like, they got an email saying the Book of Doors, like, resurfaced, and they sent out a book hunter to retrieve it for them, and they also want them to retrieve Izzy for them, which is a bit curious. Like, I mean, it was the name Isabel, but it's just a bit too much of a coincidence for it not to be the same person. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued to see where that goes, and yeah, I think that's all of my thoughts for now. So yeah, otherwise it's been a quite dreary day, and I am about to go out and parents, so yeah, I don't think I'll be filming much of it just because I don't even know if I will be going anywhere. I don't think I'm going anywhere interesting. I know that. Just yeah. Well, yeah. Other than that, I think that's all for now. So I'll see you. So it's the next day, and I've just went some errands. When I also wake some leaves. One. It was somewhat dry out because it's been raining for most of the day, and yeah, I don't know when I'm freezing. But I have done quite a bit of reading today. Now I'm on page 200, and I would say there were points about this book where you should feel like very emotionally something for the characters, and I will get to those in a bit. But I don't know, like I feel something, but I don't feel so connected to them. Is my thing. I am, but we do see more of the woman, like who is, I guess, our main antagonist. Like there are a few antagonists, like book hunters, people who buy books and sell them to these booksellers who auction them off to the highest bidder. And with these special books, they can go up for millions of dollars. Like people want them, I'm guessing, because they're so rare. But then we see this woman, and she is a sadist. My God, like she like tortured and killed her parents and like 17 other people, and she like I guess thrived on it. Like she was like very much intrigued about seeing how the books can torture someone. Like there is a book of destruction in her possession that can basically kill a person, and seeing her use it, it was this something that's to see. But it seems like she changed. Like it's mentioned that when she was a child, she was like a happy child, and now she's not happy at all. Like it's, and I'm using that term like very like, I guess loosely. Like it's not like she's changed, and I'm just curious on what happened to cause her to, I guess, have this dark personality. Like she isolates herself from people. She doesn't like being around people. She doesn't speak because it's something like you do to engage with humans, and she doesn't want to. So I'm intrigued to see if that's something about him. But yeah, and we do learn like that people know about the book of doors resurfacing due to the fact Easy Googled it, and it put flags up all over the world. People track them down through this Google search, and you see how Dryman, I don't know how to say that correctly, and I'm sorry if I butchered that, but he found them, he told them about it, and he does tell them more about the books. And I do like the idea that some people, like, they're more gifted in using the books. Like, it's like when you're playing an instrument or doing art of some kind, like some people are more talented in playing the violin or drawing than someone else. Like it's something, I guess, that comes naturally to them, which I do like. And so this kind of made me chuckle, is that apparently the book can be destroyed very easily. Like all you have to do is burn it, which I was like, well, yeah. But thinking about it, I do see like the difficult part is the act of actually setting it on fire and actually destroying it. Because if you're a book lover, that's something that's this. You cannot imagine destroying a book, especially a book of such thing. Like Cassie cannot imagine destroying the book that can take her literally anywhere in the world. Like it's like when you're reading, you are transported into stories, but with the Book of Doors, it's literally transporting her to other countries and other places and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. I don't know. But yeah, Drummond, he does erase Izzy's memory because he thinks he will keep her safe. He thinks that this man who is after him will leave Izzy alone once he realizes Izzy doesn't know anything. He underestimates this man quite a bit, as this man has a book of pain that he uses on Izzy, and it's tortures her. He thinks like when you're in pain, an immense amount of pain, that you will remember something and useful, and that's what he tried to do with Izzy. And yeah, and we also learned that with the Book of Doors, it does take you to different places. Like, it doesn't take you to Paris or London or whatever from New York. It can take you to different time periods. And I guess there's this fear that people with ill intentions, they will use this to change history, but that's not been verified. Like, Drummond and his friends, like, we see a flashback, they would sit around and talk about the books and, like, analyze the usage of them. And they said that no matter what, like, history's, like, set in stone. You cannot change history, even if you go back and do something with it. Like, if it was meant to happen, it's meant to happen. Like, and also with Drummond, the reason he's so curious about the Book of Doors specifically is in his collection in the library of Fox. He has, I guess, a younger version of the Book of Doors. So he's like, how is this possible? Like, he has his own questions he wants answers to. And with the time traveling aspect, we do see Cassie go back in time to see her grandfather one last time. She initially wanted to tell him about his illness because she thinks if she tells him, it might save his life. Like, he might be able to do something about it. When, I don't know, that quote is, I don't know, it was a bit naive when her saying that, because the issue was that he put all his money into the house they were living in, and he didn't really have the right insurance, so he wasn't really able to do anything to help himself. So, but she tries to tell him, and he doesn't allow that. Like, he's like, it was bound to happen, it's meant to happen. Like, I want you to live your life, essentially, what he tells her. And that scene, while I was touching, I don't know, I just didn't really feel emotionally connected or invested in the scene. Like, it was touching and I felt moved, but I don't know, I'm not, I should say I'm someone who, I don't cry when I read. I don't feel so emotionally like that, I guess, when I'm reading, but still, I just felt, if I would feel something, and I don't know, I did feel something, but I don't know. And we do see how this woman, like, after they leave Cassie's grandfather, they go to, Drummond's friends died that day. He went into hiding, and it's because this woman killed his friends, took their books, and is like, give me the library of Fox. And that terrified him, seeing what this woman can do and seeing what has happened because of the library. And that's why he hid himself, and why he hid the library behind this, like, wall, this I guess, wall of shadow. Like, he is terrified. And yeah, and I should say, speaking of Izzy, she and Lon, who is like a book hunter's bodyguard, like, the book hunter is killed by the man who is after Drummond, but they take the man's book and give it to a bookseller, and the bookseller has them go with her, and they basically will be isolated from the rest of the world for 24 hours, which, yeah, I'm very much intrigued to see how that goes. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just very much intrigued about this woman, why she wants all of the books. And the woman, she does mention, like, what she will become when she gets all of the books in the world, all of these special books. Like, the hunt is over for her. Like, what else is there? So yeah, I'm intrigued to just really learn more about the books, just because what I've learned so far has very much intrigued me. I don't know, I just really am more intrigued by the books, and yeah, and I'm just very curious to see where the plot will go next. So yeah, I think that's all for now, and I'll see. So it's the next day, and I've just been out running some errands and whatnot. It was quite like another dreary, rainy day for they start clearing up when I was getting home, which typical. But yeah, I just did some grocery shopping and whatnot, and I have done some reading of Book of Doors. Now I'm on page 254, and I don't know. I'm still not like connected to the characters. Like I'm intrigued about parts of the story, but yeah. So far I'm just feeling mad about it. Like it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I just don't feel connected, unfortunately. But what we with the last like 50 or so pages I read, Drummond and Cassie they return from the past to her apartment, and they are attacked by the man who's been after Drummond, a man named Doc Doctor Hugo Barnaby. And I'm saying doctor in quotation marks because he did go to medical school, but he never finished it. So yeah, but he attacks Cassie, takes the Book of Doors from her through Drummond attacks him. I don't know. It just results with Cassie getting pushed back through the door, back into the past, and Hugo basically slams the door in her face, and she's stuck in the past without the Book of Doors, meaning she has no way to get home. And she mopes about it, like she just like thinking about what to do, and then she tries to find Mr. Rubber, who was the one who gave her the Book of Doors, who at the time that she meets him in the past, like he doesn't have the book in his possession quite yet, and he is quite doubtful about her story, as you can imagine, until he finds some proof and is given proof that her story is legit. And he like invites her to stay in his apartment, and it's like I guess a full circle in a way, because at the beginning of the novel, Cassie, when after Mr. Rubber dies, she just go to his apartment and she sees the clothes in his bare bedroom, the books on the windowsill. Like she's intrigued. She's wondering did he have a girlfriend or a relative over, but no, it was just her stuff that it was there, which I just find I don't know, full circle moment. That's really yeah. But we do see how Cassie, she is on the hunt for the Book of Doors, her only chance to get home, and like in 50 pages, 10 years pass, and we see how initially she was very like, she was looking for the Book of Doors quite heavily, she was involved in a hunt quite heavily, like, and almost, she was obsessed with finding it, and then over the years, she became more lax about it, like, she didn't really care about finding it. And Mr. Rupper, he does, and when he meets like the younger Cassie, like when Cassie moved to New York, 4 years I think it was prior to the start of the novel, he fully believes her and agrees to help her. Like, and is like, I guess not agrees, but he's more adamant about finding it now that he's met her, and he wants her to go back where she belongs and help her. So, and they think they found it, but it's like a false copy or something. I don't know. It gives her like not bad luck, but I guess false promises or. And he does give her advice like, that she just should be happy and whatnot. Like it's just I don't know. I like the fact that she did get advice from two men that she was close with, that she wasn't really there when he died. Like she was in the womb with Mr. Robert. She was in the same house as her grandfather, but she does say she was asleep when her grandfather passed, and she had her back turned to Mr. Robert, so she wasn't very present when they died. If that makes sense. So, yeah, and it's still quite unclear to me how Mr. Weber, like, how he had a Book of Doors in possession when he gave it to Cassie at the start of the novel, because they were not able to find it whatsoever. Like, they did find a false lead, but, and that's really it. So, somehow the Book of Doors came into possession. Like, I just didn't really understand that. And we learned that because Cassie watches herself leave the bookstore after Mr. Robert died, after she gets the Book of Doors, and yeah. And we do learn why the bookseller was quite adamant about protecting Daisy. Apparently, she and Cassie met up a couple times trying to make a deal about the Book of Doors, and Cassie promised to give it to her as well. The Book of Safety that the bookseller's lending her to protect herself from Hungo. So, yeah, there's that. Like, the whole thing, felt sped by almost like 10 years and 50 pages, and we kind of get the idea that Mr. Weber and Cassie, like, they were closer in that moment, I guess, than he was with the Cassie, like, from before she had the Book of Doors, before he died. Like, they would sit around, have a meal, have tea, discuss books and whatnot. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's another thing about the fact I just feel disconnected. Like, I would have liked to have seen a scene instead of being told. I don't know. It's just, but yeah, that's my thoughts for now on this novel, and that's really the end of this vlog. So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to recently. If you want to, please subscribe to my channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time.